students. Let us continue with the lesson, that is diversity in living organism. We have finished with the plants. I hope you understood the different groups or the divisions of plants under the kingdom plantae. And by now we understood how to differentiate the plants based on the different characters, different features. Now let us learn about the kingdom Animalia. So already we know what are animals, right? So kingdom Animalia includes the organisms which are eukaryotic and multicellular, and all are heterotrophic organisms. You won't find one single organism which can prepare its own food, okay? So all the animals are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic, you know very well. These are the organisms which cannot prepare their own food and depend on plants either directly or indirectly. So they are all heterotrophic organisms. Eukaryotic, multicellular and heterotrophic organism. And how to differentiate an animal cell from a plant cell? We know very well all the plant cell and few bacteria and fungi, they have cell wall. The cell has cell wall. Animal cell, none of the animal cell will have a cell wall. Cell wall is absent in animal cell. And most animals are mobile, that is they move, right? They are not sedentary, they don't stay. But there are few animals which are sedentary. Sedentary means what? Which stays, which is attached to something, maybe a rock or some other substance, so they don't move, okay? The animals which do not move, just attached to some rocks or something like that, they are called sedentary, okay? But majority of animals are mobile, they move, okay? Then how are these animals are classified into two main groups. So whatever animals we put it in the kingdom Animalia, they are basically differentiated based on the presence or absence of backbone. Okay, so we know backbone, right? We all have backbone. So whether those animals have a backbone or they don't have a backbone, based on that, animals are classified into two kinds, that is invertebrates and vertebrates. Between invertebrates and vertebrates, there is one more group is there, that is protochordates. So that I will be teaching you later. So basically the animals are classified into two types, that is invertebrates and vertebrates. Okay, so now we will be learning about the invertebrates and the vertebrates, and one more group I told you, that is protochordate. Now what are invertebrates? We know very well. Invertebrates are the organisms which do not have a backbone. So under the invertebrate group, we have around 8 phyla. We have around 8 phyla. Okay. So these 8 phyla will be learning their characteristics and examples. Phylum, it is plural. Phyla, it is singular. So let us learn. So there are 8 phyla in invertebrates, and coming to vertebrates. Vertebrates are organisms which cannot prepare their own food. It includes around 8 phyla that we'll be learning. And vertebrates, there are 5 classes. So let us start with invertebrates. As I told you, invertebrates are the organisms which do not have backbone. A backbone is absent. Okay. And here always we have to, whatever order I have written, whatever the names I have written, we have to follow the same way, because that is how they have evolved. Okay. See, we are so very complex organism. We have well differentiated digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system. See, we are really evolved or advanced organisms, right? But before whatever these organisms we are going to read, okay, or study about, right, they show a simple body structure, right? And as we go on study, we come to know, okay, this is how we have evolved, okay? So what is evolution? You know very well. Evolution is a gradual change, a slow change from a simple organism to more complex organism, right? So when we go and read about them, study about them, we come to know, okay, this is how the organism are formed, or this is how the tissues are formed, this is how the organs are formed, and the organ system is formed. Because when we are starting from from the organisms which are very, very primitive. Like, when we start with Porifera, they don't show tissue. Whereas when we talk about vertebrates, we have tissues organization, and we see organ system organization, and the entire organism. That's what we say. I told you the vertebrates are highly developed organism. But before the vertebrates have come, there must be some other organism which have shown some kind of changes. And before that, previous to that organism, there should be some organism which helped in this change, right? So here, that's what. As in when we go on and study about these organisms, we come to know actually how this organism have contributed to more advanced groups. So here, that's what we have to learn here. So first we see whether it is a tissue grade organism or organ system grade organisms. Okay, and how is their body? Do they show bilateral symmetry or radial symmetry? Do they have organs for digestion or respiration or excretion? Okay, all those things we'll be learning here. So now let us learn about the invertebrates. The first one, let me just read out the 8 phyla. So first one is phylum Porifera. First one is phylum Porifera. Then Coelenterata, otherwise it is called Cnidaria, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata. See, these names are given, either they are taken from Latin or Greek, and each has a particular meaning for it, right? For instance, if you talk about Porifera, the name, the organism got this name because this phylum got the name Porifera because the organism, which I was telling that whatever name is given to this phylum, okay, it is based on one special character, okay, that represents the entire group. And that character is present in all the organisms which is included under the phylum. So here the phylum Porifera, okay, the name is given because all the organisms which are included under the phylum Porifera, they have pores on them. They are the pore-bearing animals. So as and when we move on, right, like different phyla, so I will be telling you about all those things, okay. So now, so the first phylum Porifera. The phylum Porifera includes, as the name is, if I told you, it is pore-bearing animals. They are the pore-bearing animals, and all are aquatic. And most of them are marine form. Marine form means what? They are present either in the sea or the ocean. Okay, and the body shows least differentiation. You really cannot make out, right, the different organs, nothing like that. It's just like the Thallophyta. In case of Thallophyta, they don't have any kind of differentiation, right? We cannot make out the leaf or stem or anything like that. In the same way, the body does not show much differentiation. Okay, so the body shows least differentiation. Like when you look at other organisms, like we have hands, legs, everything like that. No, so these don't show any kind of differentiation. That's what it means. Okay, and generally they are referred as sponges. And these organisms exhibit cellular level organization. That means here, when we talk about animals, what comes to our mind is tissue grade, right? We know that our body is made up of different tissue, organ system, right? So here, when we talk about this animal, they don't have any tissue, but their body is made up of different types of cells. So I am saying different types of cells, and I am saying they are not made up of tissue. So you know what is the definition for tissue? What is tissue? Tissue is a group of similar cells. We have learned it. It's a group of similar cells which take up a specific function. It's a collection of same cells, and that cells will do, all the cells which are grouped under will be doing one particular function. But when you look at the sponges, their body is made up of different types of cells, but they are all independent to each other. No way they are interconnected. That's why it is called cellular level organization. You should remember this. Okay. And examples. I'll remember a few examples. There is cycon, euplectella, spongilla. These are the few examples for the phylum Porifera. Now let us take one example. Okay. One example. Let us take cycon. Okay. Cycon looks something like this, cylindrical, and they are all attached. Porifera, the organisms are attached. They are not, moving. They don't move. They are usually attached. So they are attached to some rock here. So they'll be attached to rock. So this is, maybe think they are attached to some rock, stones or something like that. Okay, so this is how the organism looks. So they have like this structure. Okay, just in your textbook they are doing something like this. Okay, so this is how the sponges look externally. Now I thought let me just explain something, how exactly it is made from inside, because I have told you the body is made up of many holes, tiny holes. Okay, so this is the external view of sponge, that is cycon. Now let me just take the internal structure. If this is the sponge, okay, so I'll just take one part of it, or just let us see how it is. Okay, and I told you they are made up of different types of cells. So they have different types of cells. Okay, one second. See, if this is sponge, okay, I'm going to take a different section and I'm going to show you only this section. So this is how it will look. Okay, this part I'm taking. Okay, so this part, this part I am taking, so that you'll understand better. So I told you it will be made up of different types of cell. So the cell what I am drawing here, this is one type of cell. Okay, and this is one more type of cell. And each has a different function. Okay, and they have amoeboid shaped cell. Okay, amoeboid shaped cells are also present, and they have skeleton secreting cell. It will have skeleton secreting cell, and they are lined by epithelial cell, or we can also call it mesenchyme cell. It is also called mesenchyme cells. Okay. See. So now you identified 5 different types of cells. So this one section I have taken. Okay. So this is one section. So what is this cell? It is called pore secreting cell. This is called pore secreting cell. And you can see this, it has that flagellar kind of structure. So this is called flagellated collar cell. Flagellated collar cell. And I told this is amoeboid cell. Amoeboid cell. And what did I say this one? They are the skeleton secreting cell, or it is also called spicule secreting cell. And they have this mesenchyme cell. See how many different types of cells it has? It has 5 different types of cells, and each has different function. Okay, so like that, the entire body also is made up of as I told you, this organism has very tiny pore, right? So they'll have this very tiny gap. Again, they'll have this pore secreting cell, okay, and they'll have this mesenchyme cell. Then they'll have this flagellated collar cell. It will have this flagellated collar cell, okay, and it will have this amoeboid cell and spicule secreting cell. So like this, it is present, okay. So that is the structure of what is that? Sponges, that is cycon. So now, if this is cycon, okay, it has this tiny pores. It has this tiny pores. These tiny pores are called by one more term called ostia. The tiny pores is called ostia, and I told you they don't have any organ. Then how do they get the food? How do they respire? Okay, because they are autotrophs, they cannot prepare their food. Yes. Here, what happens is the water will enter. The water will enter inside the body of the sponges through this tiny pores called ostia. Their body has one cavity. It has a cavity. This cavity is called osculum. The cavity is called, this cavity is called spongocoel. The cavity is called spongocoel. So the water will enter inside this cavity, carrying those tiny organisms. Okay, and this when the water enters, those tiny organisms which may be present, right, that will be trapped by the flagellated collar cell. That's the function of this cell. It will trap those tiny organisms, and it will be taken inside and it will be digested. Then even the oxygen is also diffused, right? With the help of diffusion process, the water would have had, water will be having oxygen, right? If the water carries oxygen, right? So that is again taken. Again, waste is also secreted inside the water, and the water is thrown out. They'll have a large opening. They'll have this large opening here. This large opening is called osculum. The large opening is called osculum. Okay. Through that opening, the water will enter through ostia and moves through this cavity, and it will be thrown out through the osculum. The free end. This is the attached end. This is the free end. Okay. So that's how they get their food. Okay, and they digest, and also this cells independently will work. So they are the cellular level organization. This much if you learn is more than enough. Okay. So now I hope you understood. So from Porifera, we see cellular level organization. That is, we know protozoa. Protozoa are what? These are the organisms which are made up of single cell. Proto means they are first, right? First zoal. Zoal means animals. They are the first animals, right? And now we see there is a transition, there is a change. Now we see in a single organism, individual organism, we find different types of cell. This has given rise to formation of tissue. That's how tissues have formed. First, only unicellular organisms were there. Then when you check sponges, we see different types of cells within the body of an organism. So that has contributed for the formation of tissue. I hope you understood so much. Now let us go to the next phylum, Coelenterata, or it is called Cnidaria. Phylum Coelenterata, or it is called Cnidaria. Why it is called Cnidaria? Let us learn.